The city and its community partners are trying to make sure people in Boston take advantage of the new federal relief in the child tax credit. Most eligible families, those who filed taxes recently, will get the money automatically, but others will have to take some action. To explain the credit, what's required, and how to get help is the director of the Boston Tax Help Coalition, Mimi Turchinetz. Thank you very much for being with us, Mimi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mimi, I know we have you on before about tax information, but this is at least a one-time deal in the sense of how the credit is being expanded. So how much money could be involved for some families?
So the credit has been expanded, and this is part of the American Rescue Plan with the Biden administration, who recognized that the pandemic really hit families very, very hard. So what has happened is that they modified the credit, expanded how much it was that people could get, and also changed the delivery system so that people aren't just getting it in their tax return, but they're also getting an advance. And so the exact amount is that for families who have children from 0 to 5 can get $3,600, and families with children between 6 and 17 can get $3,000, and that's per child. So it's significant. It's a lot of money. And then the advanced component really makes a big difference. So as of July the 15th, if people had filed either a 2019 or a 2020 return and or had received the stimulus, they would get an automatic payment sent directly to their bank account. And that would be from July 15th to December every single month around the 15th. And then they would get the other half of that amount in their 2021 tax return.
I understand this concern, at least within the city's administration, that something like 5,000 children will miss out on this benefit. Why is that?
Well, because this is just like a lot of the other challenges with the IRS in dealing with these kind of well-conceived, important changes. But what ends up happening is that then the distribution becomes, you have to use the systems that are already in place, right? And so right now there are a whole bunch of people based on their income or access that don't file a tax return. And so because this child tax credit is available for people with no income, families who don't have to file, then because they're non-filers, they're not in the system. So you have to go to an IRS portal. So they've created 2 separate portals for this. And so part of our concern is that although you're eligible, this is the same thing as we talk about with the earned income credit, right? You could be eligible, but if you don't get into the system, you may miss out on the credit, on this credit, which is also a refundable credit.
What about possible limits to eligibility? I'm thinking of people, maybe because of their immigration status, they might be working, as we commonly say, under the table. What about their eligibility?
So the difference with this is in this particular piece of legislation, what the Biden administration did is they're allowing families who have ITINs, right? You have to have an ITIN, which is the individual tax ID number, in addition to the Social Security number. So the ITIN is the tax number that the IRS provides to undocumented workers who then can file a tax return. It's kind of seems unconventional, but it is the way that the IRS has kind of got some of those folks into the system. So if families, mom and dad, or mother or father, have an ITIN and they can complete the test, right? If they have the kid is the right age and they have the right income, et cetera, et cetera. If the child has a Social Security number, they are eligible. So both parents could have an ITIN as long as they fulfill the rest of the tests, right? Which is fairly simple. You can get the credit for your kid.
Well, some people can work this out themselves. So if they were to take the action to get this, and if they were not going to be getting the money automatically, what should they be doing?
So what they need to do, so I had referred to this thing called the portal, and the IRS created one of these portals for the stimulus payments as well. We had created a stimulus hotline and got thousands and thousands of calls. So we upped that. People have to go to the portal. So if you know that you don't file a tax return, and so this is to all the families out there, if you don't file a tax return, even if you're undocumented and have an ITIN, you should go to the IRS portal. It's irs.gov. It'll say child tax credit, non-filer portal, and you need to put specific information into that portal. Now, the portals, as you know, Chris, are hard, right? I mean, it's not easy for people to go through these things because you need broadband, you need either a telephone, a smartphone or a computer, and you have to do all of it online, and it's only in English and Spanish. So what you need to do is, if you can't do it on your own, at the Boston Tax Coalition, Boston Tax Help Coalition, and the Office of Financial Empowerment, we are available to help. So we still have 2 tax sites that are doing tax returns and can help people with this. We also have a program called the Financial Navigators, and the Financial Navigators, as well as our Disability Ambassador, will answer any questions and help people get through the portal. Our Disability Ambassador will walk you through the portal, and so that even though it's difficult, if you have any questions at all, I know that you have all the numbers and you're going to put them up, bostontaxhelp.org. People can go to that, get the questions that they have answered, and they should do everything they can, because it's a lot of money. It really can make a big difference in people's lives.
And by the way, what about the languages? We're not just talking about English and Spanish, right?
So the IRS has things translated into just English and Spanish. Our financial navigators speak English, Spanish, Portuguese, and Haitian Creole. So we have 4 languages that people can call and talk to in those languages. We also have in the city a language line. So you should be able to, for any language that you have, you should be able to talk to one of the navigators or one of the folks that may answer the phone and be able to get those languages, be able to be translated into those languages. Also on the website, there are 12 languages the flyer has been translated into.
Many of the people you're trying to help are people who've been struggling with their jobs, paying the rent. They might be getting calls from debt collectors, and
Right.
some of these collectors are asking for maybe an advance on this tax money. What should people do about that?
So this money is, you cannot garnish it. It's not like income, right? They should keep their paws off your money. You should definitely not answer the phone if they're saying that they want to use that money. What you really should do is call Greater Boston Legal Services. There is so much greed and theft going on right now in terms of all these extra payments coming out of the federal government. So obviously you need to be careful of scams, but they have no claim to any of that money.
We should get this to our viewers before we close. The website for the coalition and the phone number to get some help on the phone.
Yep, so it's bostontaxhelp.org, and then the phone number for the financial navigators is 617-356-8229. And all of that will be on you can Google the Office of Financial Empowerment, you can Google Boston Tax Help Coalition. All of those things will get you to the website and get you to pages that have very specific information, explain all this. There's also a bunch of other tools that are out there. There's something called the Get It Back campaign that is very, very helpful. If you Google White House, CTC, the federal government, the White House has done a really well-crafted series of questions and answers and Q&A and hypos. It's really, really good. That has great information. So there's information out there, and people should, if you think that maybe you are eligible, you should pursue this, because it's a lot of money to lose.